Hi.
Hi.
We did it. We landed July.
Just in time too.
Yeah. How's your day going?
My day is going pretty well. Just I had a really good nap. Two
Aw.
actually. Yes.
Okay.
And I also got a lot done. So a well balanced day, I would say. How
Nice.
was yours?
It was a hard day. It was a hard day. It was long and tiring. um Yeah, and I'm very sleepy and I can't wait to put this day to bed. I can't wait to tuck this day in. I'm having some issues with my back and my legs and my sinuses. Like everything is just kind of so. But I wanted to still get us in because I know like my next few days are going to be a lot. So I was like, it'll be nice to do this. So let's do it. It'll make me laugh. That
Let's
would be
do
good. Yeah. So the card that we will talk about a little bit today is Wheel of Choice, which was used on the last live. And it says
Yeah.
use the wheel of choice. Using the wheel of choice is one way to teach problem solving, and it's just the idea of putting different choice options into a table or a wheel or any fun activity way to teach uh, children, teach the family, teach the self to realize how the power of creating options and creating choices. And then, you can do it just for chores, you can do it for fun activities, you can do it for decision making about what's the next step to do, uh, where to go for the weekend, what position to try next.
Wait. Of course. I was about to say what to wear.
What to wear. Yeah, there you go. I mean, we're taking it from self to self, the self parenting, and of course, with our children,
Ooh,
and of
are
course,
you
nurturing
frozen?
within the family. Am I frozen? Oh no. Are you are you hearing me? You're frozen for me now. Oh no. Where are we? Let's see. If you are hearing, you can just go out and come back in. Remove you. Oh, is it my computer? Yes. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Yes. I was just saying, yeah, for sure. I was saying definitely close, but just, with always we're doing our self-parenting, inner child nurturing, um, parenting of the adult child, nurturing of the adult that we are as well. Lifelong lifespan nurturing self to self, of course, with our children, of course, with children that we have in our guardianship. Of course, there's nurturing in intimacy, in intimate partners of all sorts. So yeah, I think that I really love the option of creating choices and creating options, like being aware that the duality of choices are very limiting. It's not, you can't do this or that or just one thing or just because I said so. Let's
Mhm.
sit down and kind of brainstorm and get creative and ingenuitive and just kind of like playfully create choices. So
Okay. I just got a message. I think it might be Soleil's ride.
okay.
So there was a huge, I was saying there was a huge choice made this week, and my fingers still
Oh,
saying from being.
yes, I thought of that. I thought how timely the cards always are like that, right? Every time you pull a card, there's always, I mean, it just shows how much synchronicity there is in life. But it's just like I pull this card for the week, and then it's the week of elections and voting in St. Lucia. So it's just like, of course, like creating choices would be the topic this week.
Oh, yes. And it felt good to be able to make a choice this week. That's my second time voting,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I like voting. The first time,
That's
the
funny.
first time I was so excited to vote because I had decided who I was going to vote for, and I had a conversation with my father and explained to him who I was going to vote for and why. And at first, he didn't really agree with my choice, and I told him, "No, this is why I'm doing it. I'm making a statement and X, Y, Z." And by the time I finished having that conversation with him, he told me that he's going to vote for my candidates because my argument was so convincing.
That's awesome.
Um,
That's and
so
that's it's so interesting, especially when I think that we so need and deserve debates so that we can understand the policies and have time to rethink and make informed decisions and really sit and sift through like why are you voting for this person. It's not just the fanfare of it or just the hype and the party aspect of it and there's so much disrespect that happens in the way that the campaigns are run. You know, it's been in our culture. It's something that we need to turn around. um but it's so funny just as being part of the voting body that two people can have a debate and change somebody's mind because they are so aware of another candidate's policies. That says a lot about that candidate that they would have been able to convince you that much that you could advocate that much and change somebody's mind in that way.
yeah, it was so interesting to see the way the campaigns were run this time around.
Yeah.
And with COVID was a gift, I think, in this election because I found that with the way that our elections work, we hardly ever get a chance to, as young people, to sit down and listen to the candidates and ask questions. And due to COVID, and I think Twitter launched their spaces recently. Yes, Zoe. Yes. You want a kiss?
At this moment while you're doing the podcast, I need a kiss right now. I love it.
Thank you. You like stuck? Yes, stuck. Yes. Money? Yes. Pull it out. Pull it out? Okay. Yay. Here you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Money? Yes. Kiss. Mwah. Thank you. Yes. Mwah. Aww.
If you needed to hear that
Yes.
listening, you just got that sound.
See you.
And we wish you all the kisses.
Go back to what? Oh, yes.
Love it.
Where was I? Yes.
You were saying that Twitter had launched
We
its
got
spaces.
the spaces, and we got 2 nights in a row to have a Twitter space which with each of the leaders of the parties.
Okay.
So the first night we had a Twitter space with Philip J. Pierre, and we had a hashtag where we could ask questions, put the hashtag, and then the people who were hosting, they were able to ask the questions. And I've never experienced that
Oh, I didn't
before in
even know that that was
politics.
happening. That's amazing. I need to
Yeah,
tell
that
my team on Apagal that we did. I don't know if we all knew. I mean, I didn't know for sure. That's awesome. So you got to
yeah.
engage all of the candidates?
Just the leaders of the parties.
Okay.
Not the NGP, only SLP and UWP.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
very interesting to have that.
And it was primarily a youth space or what was it?
Well, the Twitter crowd,
who hosted it?
it was hosted by Kev's Politics and Nelsia from Choice.
Okay.
Yeah, and the crowd I think on Twitter is mainly like between 18 and 35. So mainly youth.
Yeah, youth, yeah.
Yeah. That was very interesting, and to hear their answers in real time and for them to get feedback on their answers in real time from the people who were in there, that was new, and that was very exciting.
That's cool. And you're training, I mean, It's the little things, because then he's growing up seeing his mom be involved, engaging, seeing the value in asking questions. A lot of times kids don't see that modeling behavior of parents understanding that they have the power to create choices. They just kind of do the whole like, well, that's what your grandmother did. That's what I mean. I know you're not that kind of parent, but still highlighting it and calling it out, you know? So even with
Yeah.
something as important as voting, leadership, yeah, that's important that you had that opportunity. Yay.
Are you hearing this?
No, what is it?
Okay. Oh, it's he's playing his show. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can't.
audio. But
So
that's fine.
let's jump into updates since our last one, and then I'll tell the story of the book.
Yes. Since our last one, so that was the end of June. Oh, there's been a lot. Oh, thank you, my boy. Yes. Sneaky witch. Okay, so like I told you, the most recent change was my landlord leaving. And so I have a new nurturing perspective where I'm nurturing more plants. And not
Right.
only that, he left so suddenly that he didn't make arrangements for his pets. So the dog has now adopted me as well.
Oh, you have a
Yes,
botanical garden and an animal center, and
yes,
you have a jungle nurturing center. I love it.
yeah. And I was
um,
just looking back on like one of my plants I got as a present from him, essentially when I moved in.
yeah.
It was all in the balcony, and he told me, you know what, just have it. And I was looking back at its progress,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the value of the nurturing that I do with my plants, because I'm
Yeah.
very particular about how I nurture my plants.
Yeah.
I sing to them and I give them, I put them together and turn on my ionic steamer, which I actually got the idea through reading the book that you gave me. So the sneaky witch.
Big up all
Yes,
the sneaky
baby.
witches.
Yeah. Come sit. All right.
Hi.
Which Pete? Look, say hi.
Hi, my love.
Appeal. Yes. So I've just really been thinking a lot about the effect of the nurturing that I do with the people around me, the plants, the animals, everything.
Yeah, and the way we are plant like, the way we are animal like, tapping into
Oh, yeah.
that plant element in us, the us growing in stronger stronger within our roots as we are in our trunk, in our base, right in our center, and as we branch out from roots to fruits, like seeing ourselves that way, fruits of our labor, right? Our passion projects, our passionate projections. If that's not one, I don't know what is. You gave birth to the sun. So, yeah, I think that that's really powerful. And so bringing it into the book, um, you hold on one second.
Okay. Yes, baby. Balloon.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it would be, I was thinking that it would be, what was I thinking? I just threw myself.
You were
The
about
book.
to go,
I was talking about
but I also want to remind you that you did not get a chance to give your updates.
my update. Yes. Thank you. Well, maybe I go into the book and then I give my update since we were talking about
Okay.
plants, and the book just seems to be wanting its specific time. So let's mark the time and look up the numerology of five. Sorry, okay, my dyslexia is kicking in. So we look up 574 for that part of me, but it's actually 754. So I'll add that numerology to our our DMs after. I'll send us the message
Okay.
of those two numbers. Anyway, the book was that book has gone on such a journey. So I used to work many years ago at a project, an outreach project. Actually, the walls in the center, some of them were orange, and you have that orange wall behind you, so that's orange. And you were in orange. I love your top as
Oh,
well. And
thank you.
and one of the oh my gosh, and I just for the first time noticed that my neighbor has an orange door. They must have just
Oh,
painted the door.
wow.
Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe that. I have to take a picture. The the doors are orange and green.
You're
Like
kidding.
one door, like two neighbors. One door is orange, one door is green. I've never seen that before.
Wow.
They
And
must
it
have
and it
painted that.
decided to show it now.
Huh? You want me to
It
show it?
decided to show itself right now.
Yeah. I was like, what? That's so interesting. Wow. Okay. Anyway, there's so much happening here. So the book. So we I the I was I left the project, and it was like an outreach after school program. I left the program, and I didn't I sort of lost touch with one of the my colleagues at the program for a long time, and then we randomly met just when she was moving away from St. Lucia. Years later, we randomly met when she was moving away from St. Lucia for forever. And she was like, you would be the best person. I have all these books, my whole library. And she had like all these amazing books, like boxes and boxes of books. And she just gave them to me so that I could gift out. Like I gave them to so many clients and kin. I did so many different things with them. I mean, it moved from her house. I didn't have a place at the time. I had to bring them to Felicia's house for a bit. Then they moved from Felicia's house to my house. Then I was moving and I was going through so many changes. So when y'all came to my house that one time, I put out a select few of what was left on the table so that like just take one, like a gift, like whatever one resonates, if you just take it. But she's a she's a quantum healer. She does quantum healing therapy and Reiki, and she's just such a powerful spiritual teacher. And it's just so powerful that you got that book, and I just kind of it's very interesting to me to see who got the books. Like I just see them as little like they're all little talisman, like little they all have this energy, and
Yeah.
all of us have a piece of her with us. um I don't want to say her name out here just because for her own privacy and confidentiality, but it's so funny that Soleil was saying secret witch or whatever he was saying.
Sneaky
Sneaky
witch.
witch. Because she has that kind of witchy name. Like her name is like a name that is known in movies. Like it's often given that way, her regular name. So it's just kind of funny that that would come up. And the house where I was when you got the book, my friend whose house it was, her grandmother has the same name, which I'm only realizing now as I'm saying this to you. So like, and that's how I randomly ran into her when she gave me the books. Was I went to lunch with that friend whose
Wow.
house I ended up living in after. So there was a
Wow.
lot of that synchronicity. Like it was just so meant for you to have it. And then the other reason why it meant so much to me in the on the emotional end was it just sounds like someone is inside my house. Like I'm just like, oh,
Wow.
I keep like I keep looking because I'm like, it sounds like someone's right there, but I don't see anybody. But there's a sneaky witch. There's a sneaky witch. I'm just like, okay,
Yes.
what is happening? Anyway, what was I saying? So then the other part was I have in my work, in my life's work with Power of One, with ProSafe, a lot over the years, I've collected a great library of all sorts of books for clients and for trauma and for healing and for different modalities, and just I've had just such a powerful library. And then in Hinduism, which is the religion I was growing up with in my family, there's a practice that we use where we burn things. And a lot of religions have that. A lot of spiritual practices, you write and burn, you burn things. Um and part of them is for freeing things, part of them is for like transferring messages faster, um through the ether, etc. So had this intuitive message to burn my whole library.
Wow.
And so I did that. And the books that you all got were the books I decided not to burn. That I
Wow.
decided I would hold and give to some, like I felt like maybe some people needed. But then the other ones I felt like I burned them so that the world would have.
1 second. Baby, can we take this to the green room? Do you want to take it to the green room or the purple room? The purple room? Okay, let's do the purple room.
Solid choice. Yes, it just was so, it was so powerful. But when you said you had the book, I had even forgot that I gave those few books away because because I I had burnt all of the books, and so then so like I burned them so that that they would go into the ether, go into everybody who I come into contact with would get the knowledge. Like that was the spiritual practice of it, because I was no longer, I had to reconcile that I was no longer going to do my work in the way that I was going to do it. I wasn't going to like have a center and have my library. I was going to be a traveling professor, is what I call it. So I'm moving around and I'm doing the work virtually and moving from place to place as needed with my Secret Dialogue on tour and all the work that I'm doing. I realized I can't lug my library behind me, so I spiritually put it as a love offering and released it.
Hi.
More hugs and kisses, yeah.
Tickles? Yes. Look, your song is playing. Oops. Pull. We don't want to pull that. It's stuck. Yes, it's supposed to be stuck. Mommy likes it stuck. That's how the light works, because it's stuck. You want to pass on this side? Mommy? Yes? Yes. Okay, let's pass on this side.
Yeah, so it was just really powerful to see like who got which books, like who needed the physical copy of them, and lifelong, however it gets passed on in physical form. So I decided to do some of them through ether and subtle elemental, and some of them in physical tangible manifestation form. So when you said it, I was like, wait, what? I forgot I didn't burn all of that. And just for it to mean so much to you, and to come to find out that you have it. And maybe you could read the title for everyone, so if anybody needs a copy, they can look it up.
It's called The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart. Mm-hmm. That's the last name. I'll spell it out. Is McTaggart, and that's Lynne.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you were so meant. Yes, and yes, so much. You were so meant to have that book. Like it was so yours because it traveled so much for you, and was left in St. Lucia for you, and escaped the fire to be in this life in physical form for you. So you really like alchemized and attracted it, because it's a lot of powerful energy that went over the library of books and the intentions, the power of intention, right? That's the name of the what's the name of the book?
Yeah. The intention experiment.
Yeah. And I think that like just the title alone speaks volumes so much to who you are. Like the intention experiment, just like playing with life and playing with intentions. And like from the first session when you're like, so what you're saying is I could make anybody fall in love with me, like that kind of thing. Is like, I think that's so you. You're such the master goddess of
Is
intention experiment. So I think that, yeah.
so I want to read the line at the top because it really stood out to me when I saw the book. It said, using your thoughts to change your life and the world.
Oh, well, there you go.
And yeah. To be honest, when I started reading the book, the concepts are so interesting because, it goes into a lot about plants from the very beginning. It speaks a lot about plants and how aware they are, and thinking about the updates that I gave you and how a lot of it, yes, Sully, a lot of it is sent. Hi, can I help you? You want to sit? Do you want to hug? Okay, we'll sit. How a lot of it is around the effects that a lot of the nurturing has on plants. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I was saying, when I started reading the book, it amazed me how much it went into plant intelligence, how sensitive, how aware they are, and how much effect our thoughts and our intentions have on the plants around us. And there were a lot of experiments that did on plants. And just seeing where I am now and the updates that I gave you on my life and how I've been nurturing my plants with such intention and just them flourish. There's a lot that I owe to the book, a lot, not just for the way that I nurture my plants, but also myself and my life in general. Definitely been life-changing for me.
I see it like in a parallel life. You wrote the book and like Lynn is just telling you like, hey, we wrote this book together, like wherever, like it's so you. And it was when you said you had the book, I was like, wait, what, the book? Because I was like, didn't I burn all my books? And I was like, oh no, you did keep a few for those sneaky witches that you knew you would be inviting over at that one time. So I'm so thankful that you have it, and I'm so excited to see like all that comes, through all that you give life to, all that you create, all the worlds that you create through your intentions and that you plant and that are allowed to bloom because you are reminded of that power that you've been knowing that you have.
Yeah, it's a very powerful book, and I would recommend it too. I mean, if the name or the tagline stands out to somebody, there's a reason, because it stood out to me. From when I started reading that book, I was like, listen, it was written for me.
Absolutely.
For me. And I just love like that in general. This one was extremely special to me.
Yeah. So I just want you to know that book journeyed for you. That book traveled through Europe, St. Lucia, Florida, house to house to house. It went on a big journey to find you.
I'm interested to see where it goes next.
Yes. The story of the traveling intentions. I love that. So for me, in the last month, the last month since our last. Actually, wait. Before I give you mine, I wanted to know your business, if it's shareable. Did you end up successfully doubling your manifestations as you had intended to? Have you been able to do
Yes,
that?
did. And yes, I did. And not only that, but it's interesting because I also lowered my expenses further.
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
that's
Awesome. Awesome. I was
very
actually
exciting for me.
yeah, I love that. I was actually working on that today with some sacred dialogue stuff, and I was working on the idea of being playful with the idea that when you set a target, there's always like in calculus, engineering was my first degree, so so when you set that target, you have the upper limit and the lower limit of the curve, right? So it's like you want to set the target high enough that when it falls in the lower limit, it's fulfilling, that your lower limit is
Yeah,
fulfilling. So, with all of that land stuff that I've been working on, and ownership and financial freedom, that all the stuff I was telling you about, the $230 a square foot stuff. um, I was just writing on that today. So yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. And not to feel like you fall short, to set your goals high because you fall short, but just to be mindful that there's that mathematics of love that I call it in sacred dialogue, or I call it agriculture of love, or the calculus of love. All of these are sacred dialogue concepts, and it's that idea that if the farmer plants, he's not guaranteed this number of fruits. That's why you have to plant a whole row and see what the harvest yields, right? So you want to make sure that you are setting
yeah.
it in your re all is tick measure. So again and again, using all that you have from all that is wonderful inside of you. Tick is the measure of it. So that's what realistic is. So in your all encompassing measure of the power of what is, what can you truthfully project for? So set your
Wow.
realistic expectation.
Oh my goodness. I just witnessed something while you were speaking, and I'm very, very amazed. My face mask fell on the floor, and Soler picked it up and put it on the dining table with his feet.
That's my child.
Um, but can we pause for 1 second because it's time
Absolutely.
for him?
Yeah. It's good that we get these little breaks, because the whole reason why I first intercepted and planted the inception and came up with the idea of us doing this was to give you that power reminder to see that even if you have Soleil, you can still do your podcast, you can still carry on and do your stuff, and you don't have to be hindered by it. He's part of your life, and his voice will be in the podcast. And I want
Oh
all
yeah.
mothers to continue doing their dreams. So I'm so thankful that we carry on anyway. We have the time. We take our hour, and we take what we can get with it, and we create we create our magic with it, as woman does, and as
Yeah.
creators do.
He adds so much to it. I wanted to point out the power of choice. While
Yeah,
I was dressed, I don't know if you heard earlier on when I kept telling him, "Can you go and get mommy your lighting shoes?" And he was just objecting.
yeah.
Now, normally when he's leaving the house at night, he wears his shoes with the lights. So I assumed that, he'd be wearing that tonight. But while I was getting him dressed, I got the shoes and he was just really objecting, like he refused to wear them. So I went and I got his Crocs and I said, okay, do you want to wear this one or that one? He chose the Crocs. So the reason why he did not want to get dressed this whole time was because I was choosing the shoe for him.
Hmm.
I was
I
assuming
love
his,
that.
yeah,
Oh, that's
and
big.
not what he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So tying that with what I was saying just before we got out, we had our pause, was considering all that it means to be what is real to you. So realistic, what realistic really is, what really resonates with us. So if you as his mom encourage him to, you give your idea or for what he wants to wear, you give him the option, but ultimately you're helping him create his reality. You're helping him realize that he has the power to create his reality. And it starts in simple things like the power to choose your shoes. Hashtag the power to choose your shoes.
Oh
you know.
yeah.
You're stuck again. Your video is stuck. I bet if you can hear. Oh,
Choose
it's good.
your
It's
shoes.
fine. Yeah. There's a bit of a delay. That's what's
Oh,
happening.
okay.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, so we only have
Yeah.
a few minutes left. So I don't know if so I was what was I why would I tell you about the why did I say about the realistic thing? Was I sharing my highlights?
Oh, we were talking about, well, we were actually talking about my goal
Your
to
goal. So we didn't
double.
get around to my highlights. But my highlight was that I um somebody somebody did something that they've been doing for a long time. Like they keep changing a schedule on me every time. They keep changing the schedule, and I've watched myself grow through through my responses. Like the first time I got angry, then I got sad, then I got more infuriated, then I tried to work with it. Um, it's in a sort of a colleague type of relationship, and then I just felt so great. Yesterday, the culmination was the schedule got changed again. And I just said, you know what happened? I finished. And and I was talking to Fia about something that she was going through, and she said she was going through something, and she said, "You see, me, let me move there. I'm not good there." And that kind of just was resonating with me. So I was like, "You see me, you see the way you just be changing the schedule with me. We good. That's it's finished." So
Yeah.
I mean, finishing it changes a lot for me, and it's like a spiral up because the nature of the relationship dynamic, when I solidify that choice that I made yesterday, a lot will shift for me, and it'll be stepping me into a huge unknown. Um, but I'm really excited about it. So that's all I can share for my speaking in parables. But the point of it is, allow yourself the upgraded choice. It's not just a wheel; it's an upward spiral wheel of choice, right?
Mhm.
So I'm so excited because the choice, the degree to which I made that choice of on an entity level of I'm done with people who change schedules on me in that way. Of course, people change. We you and I change schedules all the time, but the
All
level of
that.
communication is in sync, and and um
Yeah.
and we are respectful, as in with respect to each other. We are considerate, we have integrity, we flow, we don't set expectations that are not that. So yeah, I was just like, wait, there's this lingering energy of that entity in my life, and I was like, I don't want that at all. So I was like, wait a minute, when I change this tear of decision making, something big is going to happen for me and the network. So I'm really, really excited. And so I will probably be able to give more of an update in September, because I won't be able to communicate the choice until mid-August, but I made the decision yesterday. So I'm really excited in a way of intentions, because from yesterday till the middle of August, I'm going to be like in my cauldron, in my hot, wet, deep lava cauldron of it, like, just like sussing out and dreaming up, like, okay, so now that I made that decision, but what do I want, now that I am clear that I'm declaring a void here. I'm going to be
Mhm.
filling up this void with new ultimate level, optimal level choices, things that I've never experienced before. So, like, what is that going to be? So we shall see. I will tell us in September.
I'm looking forward to September.
Me too, me too. We'll see. So,
Awesome.
highlights of today, because we have to end soon.
Um, yeah, the highlights of today were how I was able to navigate all of the interruptions, for one.
Yeah.
um, Learning from Soler that his choice is his choice and he deserves it at
Yes.
time. Um, Oh, I actually had another highlight of a choice that I made in the last month, that I was not going to work during my menstrual cycle.
Yes.
I realized that I was battling this all the time, like really trying to work during my cycle and then feeling guilty for not getting anything done because I
Yeah.
was just too. And then this month I said, you know what? I'm just going to take that week off every month.
It's one of the
So,
most powerful choices that we can make. And I will, I mean, let's definitely talk about it on the next podcast. Like, it's such a journey, the realization. I have such a journey personally as well of realizing I don't want to ever work during my menstrual cycle. And there are many of obviously like indigenous and spiritual um constructs and context and teachings that obviously teach not to, but you get into the system and into the Kool-Aid of it all, and you end up working a little bit. You're coerced into thinking it's kind of your choice, you being independent, you do, but then it's like, no, like it doesn't resonate if your body, so don't do it. And there's also an extremely spiritual, important, personal, sensual, sentient power in not working during your period. So it's important to allow yourself that choice and to express it and then to act upon it, and observe how long it takes you to actually get there from the moment you made the decision to say, I don't want to ever work on my period again. And then to see that how you get there. I remember my I'll be honest, my journey took me for about a year to actually, from the time I made the decision to actually solidify the decision.
mhm,
So because of the construct of the work that I was working in at the time. So, but it's the
yeah,
best choice I ever made.
I look forward to realizing that choice.
Yeah,
Um, for me, it will just take some shifting things around so
yeah,
that I don't have any deadlines that I have to meet immediately that week. But with proper planning, I can definitely do that.
yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for you. It's a journey. And it's a beautiful one, and you don't want to rush it. There's a lot of recalibration to do, energetic recalibration to do with it, and it's powerful. And yeah, I'm excited. Yay! Okay,
To,
well, we
um,
did it.
your your your
My
highlights of
highlight.
today.
Um, I'm just glad we made it work. That it'll be so choppy, but it'll be, that is what it was. It's like a choppy ocean with sirens, right? We know what it is. So
Yeah.
anybody who actually made it to the end to
Yeah.
listen, thank you for being here. But I mean, it's us who listen back to ourselves and blush and laugh and just so happy, and we allow you all the overflow of that if you want to listen in. But we definitely re-listen and make it to the end. And we enjoy watching ourselves back and just being like, oh, look at how much we've grown in that time, in our relationship dynamic and individually. And it's always so good to be here. So just in the way of, I love that we rode through the currents of it, and I love we did have some nice little we did find some nice little highlights in there. Like there were definitely still some gems, even if they were like, wait, what, pause. The editing would be ridiculous, and I'm not going to be editing it, so it's just going to go up as it
Same here.
is. Live unedited, that's the raw.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
love the edited versions though.
Exactly. That's a live. You can't get live music, so you're going to get the live podcast.
Yeah. It's very realistic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome to our reality.
I love your smile. You look so happy.
Oh, see, and that's my highlight. I knew that no matter how tired I was, I would definitely smile. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for this space, that we create together. For this reality that we create together. This little realm of our own and our rock in the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of hurricane season.
Yes, yes. What else? What else other water would we have if not choppy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, honey. Well,
Alrighty.
until next time.
Yes, thanks so much.
Our wish is our command. Bye.
Bye.